Welcome back to Stranded Deep. We are here witnessing the ring, the hole in the ocean. It is a big blue circle. Well, actually, no, it's a big sandy circle with a bit of blue in the middle and a bit of blue on the outside. Yes, this is a challenge. Something of an interesting challenge, actually. I don't quite know how we're going to go about completing this task, but in the comments, Stanley Orchard and Daughter said, "Oh, can you make a bit of a blue hole?" And I was like, "Yep. Sure, I can totally try and do that," which is, if you haven't watched the last episode, it is an island. It's not an island, it's an archipelago. It's an archipelago where there is a hole, and the bottom of the hole is a lower point than the surrounding sea bed or sea floor, and it's an ancient structure from a time when the sea level was a lot lower, and it would have been like a lake or some usually limestone. I'm guessing, but yes, last time we started the island, and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a monstrous challenge. So if I turn the ocean off, so what we have so far is a traditional island. If we go down to the sort of outer apron of our island, which is kind of the sea floor, we used a shipwreck to kind of gauge the depth. So it's deep enough that you can get a raft in, you can get sharks and marine life and whatever you want out here. And then we sort of peer over the crater, over the Sarlacc pit. And yes, it's deep enough to hide an entire boat on its end. That's what we use for the measurement. So turn the ocean back on and we sort of peer under the surface. So we select objects, so our brush disappears. It's it's kind of a long way down, and the sky is a long way away. Boom, straight out of the water because of the speed the camera moves. Yep. So if you don't know, if you haven't used the map editors before, the closer the camera is to something, the slower it goes, and the further away it is, the faster it goes. And that's why the speed of the camera sort of goes faster and slower. Like I said, it's a challenge. It's a freaking pain in the butt. So what we need to do is make sure there are no foamy bits. These bits, let's have a look. These bits here, these foamy bits, because that's likely to be a gap in the water mesh. There are things that are going to happen with this kind of archipelago that we cannot control. Things like a storm is going to rage around the inside of this thing like a storm in a teacup or a storm in a big blue hole. But people won't come here to this island or want to play on this island if it's just a big puddle with a bit of beach around the outside. So we have to work on the outside before really throwing a bunch of stuff in the middle. So the outside needs to be habitable. At the moment, it's kind of, there's going to be a few problems. And not all problems are obvious. So if we stand here and we say, "Ooh, you can kind of see this hazy blue water here," and it's like, well, it's kind of ankle deep, maybe it's butt deep as you're running around the circle, and you can say, "Yeah, I want to be on the other side of this archipelago," and then it becomes sort of late in the evening. Oh no. Oh, we can't see the sand because the light's not reflecting off it. So we need to do things, give people cues and clues as to where this kind of sandy reef is, or sandy ridge is. So what we're doing over here, we've kind of punched it down, raised it up on the outside, so you can get a raft in. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. In order to keep the circular island theme going, but scrape some more land, what I thought we could do is actually put little islands on the outside, maybe stretch this out a little bit. Now, this is where it kind of gets tricky. So we're just going to have to play around, essentially. We can use the set height, read terrain height, read it from about here. Okay, we'll do that. Size is, that's quite a big brush. The amount is not too bad. So if we sort of paint out along here, we have this ridge, which I don't want a ridge. So we're gonna have to paint and smooth and paint and smooth and smooth. It's gonna be one of those, I'm afraid. One of those. How much land do we think we're going to be able to scrape back? Well, here's the thing. What we can do is grab an item. specifically a structure. Let's grab a structure. Let's grab Shipwreck 3A. Shipwreck 3A is just the standard little fishing vessel. We press R to rotate. Okay, so that's quite a bit of land there. Bearing in mind this thing's quite big. We'll get rid of these afterwards as we start sort of putting the rest of the island in, but it just gives us something to work with. So we have kind of a little ridge on the inside where the water comes up. I want to smooth that off. So what I'm going to do is go back to terrain and read height. Let's read it from, let's see here, Dunzo. So click on the read height, click on the thing, and then carry on brushing. We're going to change the size all the way down. We're going to change the amount down as well. There we go. And obviously, from above the water, you don't see the blue mark. From below the water, let's go on the outside because we can sort of pop then you can see it. So it doesn't survive breaking the water mesh. So just be advised, be advised. So we've turned the amount down, just double checking that. Okay, we'll push that in. What we can do is raise it up, push it in, raise it up. But I kind of want to get rid of those bubbles. They worry me. At the same time as get some grass on the island, which means having to raise that up quite a bit. Yeah, so it's weird. I think we can bring the island up, push it up, pull it down, whilst maintaining the actual the key feature. And the key feature here is a big blue watery hole. Nice. Obviously going to be smoothing like a mad person. So we'll hit the smooth button and we'll crank the mount up. And remember that we crank the mount up. Although I will forget. I always forget. Forgetting is... no, I don't want to do that. Forgetting is half the battle. No, forgetting is something I do on a regular basis, which results in hitting the raise land tool, and then bam, you punch a hole through the center of the island, or you've raised a spike all the way up to the moon, and everyone's just like, oh, you didn't want to do that, did you? No, it's a bit stupid, no? Right, so we are going to raise the island up here. So we're going to hit set height. We're going to bring it from there. We don't only really need to... The only times when we're not going to set the height is when we are actually raising and lowering the land. Otherwise, we can just read it from what we've got. Makes a lot of sense. Remember to change the amount down because it's an inherited slider. All these tools share the sliders, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. But what we're going to do is use a soft brush, and we're going to brush out, and we're just going to go backwards and forwards on a very low setting. It's going to do two things. It's going to raise the land up, which is nice. It's also going to raise it up in a kind of random pattern? Question mark? No, it is. It's going to do it in a random pattern. So that we're going to get some areas will start to have grass in them, some won't, and you get kind of this lovely bumpy terrain, which is good. So this area is going to be pulled out. This will be on the larger areas. Now we can probably throw, I think we can throw 2 seaforts into a Playmade map before the map goes, you know what, I don't think you want any more seaforts. I think you've had enough, no? So that's the thing. I think we can afford to crank the amount up. There we go. Yeah, that's why we don't have it cranked up too much. So we're going to have to brush in. But I want these dips and I want these grooves. Sort of brush diagonally. It doesn't matter about the shipwreck because the shipwreck will ignore the mesh. The object is tied to an XYZ coordinate. It is not tied to whatever the land is doing. So that's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind. Oh, there is a hole in your mind. So we'll bring that up, bring this up, and then we'll do the same thing over here using WSAD to move the camera around, right mouse button to rotate it, and yeah, get this all. Yeah, that's not too bad. So bring the camera down to floor level, and you're like, oh, this looks like butt, and then you sort of raise it up, and it's like, it's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. So this thing, I mean, literally it's only here for size. We'll crank that up. We'll turn the C off so we can see what's going on. So get it? See what's going on? No, okay, right, just me. We'll hit read terrain height. We'll read from there. Make sure the amount's down because we want to raise this up gently. We want the outside to have a nice gentle slope to it before adding sand and then eventually breaching the water surface. So we want to keep this kind of very soft edge the island, which will help two things. If you put sharks in, it'll help the sharks not swim under the island, maybe. There's no guarantee with player-made island. And it'll help when there's a storm. So the storm will get to the shallower areas and the storm waves will sort of soften off, and that'll be quite nice. If you just have a very steep edge to the island, you'll find the storm waves come in and just kind of fold in on themselves, kind of very in a very odd manner, in a very strange way indeed. Right, so we're going back round, brushing. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of brushing, a lot of smoothing, a lot of brushing, a lot of smoothing, just to get the kind of terrain that you want. Yeah, you can use a hard brush, you can use a square brush, you can use a brush that looks like a Petri dish accident. You can use any of these. Gradiated brush, looks like an ND filter, neutral density filter, gradiated ND filter. No, just me. All right, do I have to explain that? Okay, in photography, if you're taking a picture of a sunset, you have two options. If you have a film camera, what you want to do is put on an adapter on the front of your camera and then use something called a neutral density gradiated filter, which is a piece of usually square glass, but it can be circular, and it'll be dark at the top. Well, actually, it'll be dark on one edge and light on the other, and it's a gradiated filter, usually grey. So what it'll do is it'll cut the light out on that on the dark edge and allow all the light through on the light edge, and then in the middle it sort of varies the amount of light you can actually get through, which means if you take a picture of a sunset, instead of having a very dark ground, so the ground is in shadow and the sky is super bright and your camera is metered for the sky, that won't happen. Everything will be, you'll get that lovely rich tones in the ground, and you'll get the sort of warm colors in the sky. That's what you use an ND grad for. But all the buts. You can actually do something similar with a digital camera. You just take you take a single shot in RAW mode, which is, most cameras will allow you to use RAW, which is a raw sensor data. And that means that in in Lightroom or Photo Raw or whatever, you can actually tweak the exposure after the fact and bring out the ground. Now it's not the best way of doing it, because you'll still, if you don't actually meter for the ground, then you'll lose some detail because it'll come out as a shadow. But you can still get that really cool balanced image. So we're just going back and just making sure there's no sort of shelf here as best we can. So that's what we're doing. So we're bringing the land out, and then we're trying to make sure there's no shelving. So sort of obvious bumps, crank the amount up. And then there is a third way of taking a sunset with a digital camera, and that is to take two shots on a tripod, one metered for the sky, so you adjust so the camera takes a really nice picture of the sky, or another one for the ground, and then you blend the two images in Photoshop, which is what you would do if you were doing it just with a single RAW. You process one for the ground, one for the sky, and then you just put one on top of the other and add a gradiated filter, essentially. Done in rings. So we've got a bit more land here, display ocean. So now we've got the blue hole. We've got it sort of comes out on one side. There's kind of a lot of land there. That boat is a lot bigger than it looks, and the player is going to be kind of a lot smaller. We'll put some trees and stuff there. It'll be cool. What we can also do is have something. So we can make it quite busy on this side. We can actually bring the land up in a... in fact, let's go into waters. Just make sure this is all nice. It is all nice. Cool. Oh, hello, wave. Hello, wave, my old friend. All right, we're going to head up terrain. We're going to head up raise and lower. Remember where I said raise and lower is terrible. We're going to hit set height. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Set height, we'll read it from there. We'll use the hard edge brush. Oh, the brush, it's got a hard edge. It's been out on the streets much too much. Change the amount down. I don't care who you are, the amount goes down. And then we'll turn the ocean off. Where do we want this to be? Here? Here sounds cool. Okay. We need to click on the thing, because even though under settings, like, you get the brush, and you can be clicking for hours, and nothing will happen until you actually select a tool. So remember to select your tool. Make sure your tool is selected. Exits are here, here, and here. So we're using the hard edge brush. We've set height, and what we're just going to do is left click and hold. Now the brush might move because we're working in a 3D space. What we want to do is bring this up. Okay, so what's happening is because, so we're raising the entire bit of land all at the same time, but this is sloped anyway from here, so part of the island is going to come up a little more than the other part. Let's do that. We can always tweak that a little bit, but what we now have is this kind of weird sort of patty, I guess, of landmass. We hit display ocean back on. Oh no, it looks a bit like ass. Why would you do this? This is looking a little bit like ass. I don't think you know what you're doing. Oh, calm down. So what we're going to do is find our cliffs, because we need our cliffs. Ooh, cliffs. Cliffy cliffs. There we go. I'm going to put them around on the outside. Oh, T, green, blue. No, blue. I said blue. Blue. Put them around the outside as kind of set dressing. Probably not cliff 6. Okay, so what we're going to do is drag this down and then just use these toggles to move these around. The island might actually be a little bit close to the land for what I wanted it for, but we can just put another one. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Cliff 5 seems decent on this side of the island. All right. So we have this little ridge. I think this one. Let's just do. Oh, you are actually doing something. All right. Okay. We're not locked in. We're not locked in. We can always change this. So what we're doing is we're adding cliffs on the outside to make a little offshore island. And we're using lots of small cliffs instead of just like big ass cliff 6. That's not cliff 6. That's cliff 6. Cliff 6 is huge. It's just like, oh, you know what? I mean, you can. There's nothing stopping you doing it. But I think the waves ignore the cliffs, and they will only interact with the island mesh. I think that's how it works. I think that's how it works. Cliff 3 is a good one because there's a nice big sort of sloped edge to it, so you can be swimming around and be like, oh, there's a big sort of sloped edge. I can swim up on that and it's fun. I do not die. Nice thing about the cliffs is they all kind of mesh into each other, so you can sort of pop them together, and it's absolutely delightful. So now we have this sort of lump of land off of the main body of land. Now, if you look in the island, the cartographer, you'll see this circle, and you'll see this sort of lump on your map. You won't see any cliffs. So if you put cliffs in, you ain't gonna see them. You'll only see what like part of the island mesh is above the surface. Don't worry about that. Nobody was worried. So we're gonna hit smooth height. We're going to hit soft brush. We're going to make this size small, and then we're going to be very, very careful. And we're just click like a madman on here. Now look at this. They're just softening the island off like a big roll or bun. So it's sort of coming down. It doesn't matter if cliffs poke through, as long as it doesn't look awkward. It's fine. What I want to do is make sure there's no like huge gaps between. Let's do this. So instead of lowering the island using raise and lower, just on the very edge of the island, I'm using smooth height, which is going to lower the very edges and kind of preserve this weird sort of preserve its height a little bit. We can use smooth and raise and lower, and I'm going to do that now. Soft brush. Small size, very low amount, and then we're just going to punch in here, lowering it. Lower, make it so. So just clicking like a mad person. So we're going to remove some of this sort of puffiness from the island itself. We're going to raise from here. Now we might have a long time to go. Just bring that out a bit. Bring that out a bit. Come on. Come on. I want you over the cliff. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff down there, isn't there? If I just click and hold here, is that going to bring something up eventually? Yeah, kinda. Right, okay. So this would just be something offshore, just for a little curiosity, really. Just a little bit of curiosity. We're gonna put trees and stuff on it. It'll be great. So we can hit smooth and just smooth this bit off a little bit. So you always have to go a little bit beyond what you want, or where you want the edge of the sort of island mesh to be before you can bring it back. As far as ways of getting on the island, it's not too bad. It still looks a little bit lumpy bumpy. We'll turn the ocean off now. We've pretty much got what we want. Head up objects, click on this, bring that up a bit. Can we bring it up a bit without making holes in the bottom? Yeah, we can. Cool. Do the same thing here. So a lot of these don't have anything. The mesh isn't closed on the bottom, so you might find it's a little tricky. I just want to make sure that somebody can't swim underneath and just peer up and then see that what they're actually looking at is a fallacy. It's a lie. It's a deception. So what we're also going to do is find a cliff. Cliff 1? Is cliff 1 okay? No, I don't think cliff 1's what we want. So we're going to delete that. Yes, go away. Go. Be gone. Be gone. What's that say? Cliff 5, cliff 4, 3. One of these is... Oh, that's the one I want. That is very much the one I want, because it's got this very lovely sloped edge to it that a player can run up. And that is exactly what I'd like. So we'll hit terrain, we'll hit this, we'll turn the ocean back on. Oh look, the ocean's back on. Oh look, it's a bit of rock there. I'm not liking this bit here. What? This bit here. Over here. Wait. Oh, that's because that is a... Oh, let's get rid of that. That's annoying me. That was cliff 6. We can use a different one. Use cliff 3 here? No. I don't want to repeat the pattern. Don't repeat the pattern. But that is quite nice. Oh, that is quite nice. Oh, yeah. No, that's good. If we go underwater, just make sure that's... Yep, that's fine. And then we'll throw something in there just to fill the hole in. Big rock? Don't think so. Big rock's wrong texture, isn't it? Yeah, kinda. Cliff 1. Whoa, that's a screen. Let's get this in here instead. Okay. I'm going to just poke it into the island just to make sure it's... yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. It's not very big. Doesn't need to be big. Doesn't need to be that big. We can use big rocks though. Oh, big rocks. We've done this before. So we can just throw these in, rotate them. Unfortunately, this one seems to have clipped to whatever. So okay, when you drag something in, you'll find it follows the ground initially, and then if you drag it against an object, it'll try and follow its surfaces. So you might find if you drag something in, it's kind of the wrong way up, or not the way up you expected it to be. It's like, oh, this is a bit weird. I was thinking it was going to be something else, and then I was thinking, oh no, it's actually exactly what I wanted, but I'm a little bit confused. I will go and have a cup of tea, maybe a sandwich, and then I will say to myself, I'm really not in the mood for this kind of witchcraft today. I think I'm just going to go and have a bit of a lie down in a dark room, maybe with a flannel on my face, and then I'll be like, you know what, this is a bit weird. All right, good. I'm glad we can have this conversation. All right, good. So I'm just pressing T and R just to rotate these things. I just want these to sort of kiss on the little thing. There we go. It's a little... doesn't actually have to be that much in the way of stuff touching, because you give a player a problem, they'll sort it out. They'll sort it out by jumping over it usually. So it's kind of cool. We'll throw this big rock in just for a little bit of... So the axis is kind of rotated around, but it's not an issue. Not an issue. Because that's just there to fill in any holes and... Oh, the red one. I think they want the red one and then the blue one. Yes, that's exactly what I want. So you got the sort of the classic little rock bridge. Cool, and we'll throw some trees and stuff over here. We're also going to need to, let's get rid of this for the time being. Good, we're going to need to throw some rocks down in order to make that look a little less like it's just kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere being constructed by a person. So we'll put these in, we'll give them a little rotate so they're not touching anything. We can also use another cliff, cliff something or other, Cliff Richard, Cliff Mining Rock, Cliff Shoreline. Not Cliff 6 though, Cliff 6 is too much, too much. So we'll press T. I don't want it to be too high, this island. So I don't want it to be overly tall. So I'll just throw some stuff out to sea. Yeah, let's just leave that there. Let it soak into our subconscious mind. That'd be great. I mean, there'll be probably rock structures around here anyway. Good. So, I mean, we go back to the beach. Still fairly low. Bearing in mind this is going to be covered in woods anyway. So, yeah. I mean, an actual blue hole would have probably not a lot going around it. Maybe some trees, maybe some bits and pieces. And the most of the excitement is sort of diving it or driving into this area in a speedboat or whatever. But we don't have that, so we're going to need to give people stuff to do while they're here. And lots of little curiosities and stuff. So we'll go back to terrain. We'll go back to smooth height because this is it's not great. It's not great. We'll change the amount up. We'll crank it up and rip the knob off. We don't want to get too close to this edge because it's going to try and smooth it into the actual hole itself. I don't know if there's too much we can do about that. All right. Okay, so that's kind of cool. What about this? Oh no! Oh no! We need a way of people to be able to get across here, or at least know where this is. Are to rotate. And that's not the rotate I was looking for. So if we create a little gateway, cool. A rock, and then another rock. It might work. It might work. So we do this. And then rotate. We're going to test these things afterwards. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Well, we'll have to test it. It's a little bit subtle, more subtle than, this is a fence post made of rock. Let's do this. Because we're going to have to put lots of rocks on the inside and things. Because what we can't do is... bloop, we can't make caves and caverns and stuff, so we're going to have to play with rocks and structures and stuff. So most of the objects are going to be underwater anyway. This is just so when people get here, they can throw up a little house and exploring and do whatever people do before they get completely crazy and start throwing themselves into the ocean. Okay, so this bit here, we're going to need to do some of this as well. Terrain. Hello, terrain. Size. We can't see the size. Oh no. But we can read the height. So we'll do that. We'll read the height. We'll read it from here. That was not reading the height. That's reading the height. The amount is all the way up. That's a cautionary tale. So we can probably crank it up a little bit. Get rid of that. Smooth it off because there is no Control Z. Don't forget there's no Control Z. So you can't undo a mistake. Mistakes, unfortunately, are going to have to be like serendipity. So you're like, I'm just going to read it up. So I'll raise that up here. Make sure the amount is down. There we go. The selected value is, we ignore that because that's what we just set. And we'll just bring this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. Nice. Cool. Let's bring this up over here as well. We could always have another entrance over here. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to do. So we have multiple ways in. We're brushing in there. Because people might come along and be just like, oh, I want to moor my raft in there. And I'm like, you don't want to moor your raft in there. That's going to get super stormy. It's like, oh, it's a harbour. It's not a harbour, my friend. It's not a harbour. I would not Yeah, so a word to the wise: do not be mooring a raft in there. Moor it on the beach. Oh no, you can. Oh yes, because the currents will just take it away anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot about the currents. What I didn't forget about is the water collector. Yeah, I know you can use palm fronds in it, and you can use fibrous leaves, and I don't know. It's the weird late game mechanic where you're forced to babysit something. I think that's what that kind of got me. This is like, oh yeah, well you put fibrous leaves in. All right, now you need to farm fibrous leaves as well as aloe vera and Lava Lava. Lava doesn't actually have any purpose in game at the moment, as far as I know. Then there's the other one, the plant that gives you breath booster, and potatoes, so you can actually drive around, and a tiny picture of the Queen. So you, yep, maybe a small flag. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of farming in Stranded Deep. When I started playing it, there was a bit of farming, but not nearly as much as there is now. And I'm like, you can't be a corsair, out on the open waves, so open ocean, just sort of pirate's life for me, sailing around in your big ass raft, doing things, and bounties and booty and coconuts, margaritas, mojitos. Yeah, I don't know. It's come a long way from the life of a nomad, and a lot of farming. So yeah, it's a bit weird. We're currently still on set height, and what we're doing is we're brushing out very, very slowly, very gently, and we're sort of scraping a bit more land on this side, and we've sort of scraped a bit more land over here, and we've got this big area here. And what we're going to do is do more stuff like this along the outside. So we keep the main feature for people who want to be in the main feature, but we also get some extra land because we are going to need to put palm trees down. So people, that's the wrong thing. Palm trees down for people to actually eat. Make sure they can farm if they want to stay on this island, hole, crater. I don't know. I don't know what you would call it. The Tunguskan explosion. Was there a crater from Tunguska? I can't remember. So Tunguska was, if you look in conspiracy books, it's like, it's a UFO that blew up, and then there's a lot of people that, a lot of trees got knocked over. I think it was actually like a meteorite that came in. I think it might have even been like an ice meteorite that came in and then detonated above the Earth not so long ago, actually, and just knocked trees outwards, almost like if you've ever seen footage from the Mount St. Helens eruption. There's just all the trees laid over on their sides. It's terrifying, but it's an interesting thing if you want to kill some time on Wikipedia, and you're like, I really fancy not doing any work today. I think I'll go and look up a Wikipedia on Tunguska. Oh, my boss is coming. I'll just dazzle them with science. I don't think that works somehow. Unless you are like a historian, in which case, go for it. Although, if you are a historian and you're using Wikipedia, I would have questions. I'd have a lot of questions. So yeah, what I'm doing now is just sort of bringing this bottom part of the island out, just to make sure, it's still smooth. Lots of clicking. Right, so the island has got a bit bigger than it was last time. I think this needs to come up a little bit here. Some Rita. There we go. Can we get some more grass on the go? Yes, we can. Good. Let's bring that out to here. It's kind of a pleasing randomness to the terrain as it's forming around us. Nice. So we'll bring that out. Solid areas of grass. Cool. That is looking real nice. Real nice. Get some grass here. So put some more stuff on it. So anywhere where there's water is going to be dark at night. So we know this because we had a little play earlier. So we're just raising stuff up, and then what we'll do is we'll use the terrain later on to place things in, like shipwrecks and other bits and pieces. So the island itself is going to look real nice, real nice. The hole itself is, well, we'll do something with it. We'll put some stuff in there that's going to please and delight people. Maybe even dazzle and wow them. Cool. But yeah, I know. I find using a soft brush with a very low, the amount setting crank right down to be the best solution. Otherwise, you brush in and the island ends up looking a little bit unnatural. It's too lumpy bumpy. Too lumpy bumpy. Right. Okay. Or too severe. I think the sides. I think anywhere where you have a slope or an angle, it just becomes a little bit too much. Much too young. Is that Rudy's message? Oh, I can't remember. No, I don't think it was. So let's get this. Nope, let's get this read. Punch that through there. Because I don't want that to be. There we go. Because if we turn on the display ocean, blammo, done. So we've still got this sort of wet path here, but it's a little bit easier to navigate should it be night. What we'll do is we will lower that, and what we'll lower that based on this side here, so we can wear this away. There we go. Bearing in mind that the game is probably going to go and put a load of rocks and stuff in there, because the game does do that. It's very accommodating, like that. Cool. So you might work on a kind of a shallow waterway, and you think, oh, this is great. This is the best thing ever. And then kind of randomly, with no rhyme or reason, you get sort of rocks just thrown into your navigable passage. And it's like, oh, well, this sucks. But hey, you just kind of live with it. It's what you live with. So we're going to push that down so it is a little bit deeper. So if there are rocks and whatever thrown in, going to do the same here. So we're just sort of making this a lot deeper. Oh, my poor mouse button. But maybe I should get a new mouse. Maybe I should. I did look at getting a Wacom. I have a baby Wacom, but a baby Intuos. Sorry. I use a sort of big boy Intuos at work, and they're real nice. Real nice. It's well worth sort of getting over the learning curve and to use a stylus. It'd be really cool to use a stylus in the editor. There's nothing stopping you, I guess. But I'm using a mouse here. I'd also have to find the baby Intuos. It's okay. It's okay. Cool. So we have a bit more of an island to... Oh my god, my phone! Excellent. Excellent. That'll be mum then. Not to say, where's mum talking to me? But for some reason, everyone uses, like, Messenger. So we all use Messenger to talk to each other. And, like, mum will still use like SMS. It's like, guys, just use the Messenger. We're all in the same group and everything. But it's probably about the motorbike. I had my motorbike fixed, and I got home and it wasn't fixed. It was broken. It was just like, wait, what? So I've got for anyone who doesn't know, or probably doesn't even care, I have a motorbike. I have a car, which is a hybrid. So I've got a Toyota CHR hybrid, and I have a motorbike, and I've been riding for many, many years, a lot longer than I've been driving cars. And the motorbike, my current one, is a Kawasaki ER6F 2009. So it's like a baby Ninja, effectively the Ninja 650RR with the all-digital dash. So that's a thing. It was all right for about 7 years because I had it basically from new. And then all the sensors started going in the engine. So it was just like, I was at the side of the motorway for 3.5 hours waiting for a tow truck. Because the bike wasn't broken, but sensor decided the bike was broken. So That was a problem. And then another time, a few months later, I was stuck by the side of the road, just down the road for 4.5 hours, because the AA, the Automobile Association, sent out a truck without a motorbike trailer, and I was just stuck in the rain. And they was like, "Oh, don't have the trailer. I sent someone else out." And I was like, "Can I? Oh, goodbye then." And yeah, so it's just been in to have a load of work done on it, and it doesn't start because of a sensor not working. I'm just like, oh my god. My old motorbikes were really nice. I had a CX500, which was a 1978 CX500, and I had a 1986 CX650 after that. I'll tell you what, they had problems, mostly due to like manual choke. So there's a thing, if you've never driven a car, if you're like, "Ooh, what is choke? I did not know this thing." Choke is what happens when the engine is cold, so you need to make the mixture rich, the fuel mix rich, in order to warm the engine up. Otherwise, it'll have trouble running. In the old days, you would actually have a lever on either your dashboard if you're in a car, or if you if you're on a motorbike, it would be like either a rod or like a little twisty lever thing. And quite often you would find people had a clothes peg in their car or on their motorbike, because eventually the sort of the friction on the choke would stop being enough to hold the choke out, and it would just pop back in. So you end up having a clothes peg on this thing. But those bikes were great. I love them. It's weird sort of riding around on bikes that were built, especially the 500, way before you were even born. So, but it worked for a long time, and I sort of traded up to get a more modern vehicle, which worked for a while, and then all the electronics are just stupid. So yeah, after working in IT for years, I'm like, yeah, never trust anything with digital in it. It will break eventually. Digital and users, or digital and the elements, they're always a big problem. So what we have now is an entrance here and an entrance here. We have the rocks marking the entrance to, let's click on terrain and objects, marking the entrance to the hole itself. We have a larger, wider piece of land here and a larger, wider piece of land here. Good. We can start sort of putting some trees, and I think I don't want to put pines on it. Or do I want to put pines on it? I honestly don't know, I think palms, obviously. And obviously we're not going to go anywhere without ficus. Ficus everywhere, except that's not the ficus I want. Where's the ficus tree? Ficus tree. That's the one I want. That's the one that I want. I was thinking, no, the ficus tree is looking a little bit shady, no? Get it? Because it's true. Good. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll throw one down there and one down there. Hit R to rotate. Make sure the roots are. Whoop, camera. What are you doing? What are you doing, camera? I do not know. Make sure the roots are all actually poked into the ground, because it's embarrassing if they're not. Grab some rocks. Items, rocks. Nope. Rocks under R. So we got big rock. Oh, that is a big rock. Let's go R. Let's press T. Push it back. Pull it down. There we go. So we've got this here. We'll grab another one. Put it on the other side. So we're just making sort of a little, not a planter, but a feature of the tree. There we go. Good. And then R to rotate it. Just grabbing rocks at random, really. Cool. Hey, the seeds blew in. They got stuck on some rocks, and now we have this little feature. Maybe I want to flip this over. That is not how I wanted to flip it over. Give me the blue. Oh my word! I want the blue one. There we go. I was thinking working in the 3D space would be easier, no? So let's press T. Everything is now upside down. Green toggle. Ah, there we go. It's better. So we do that, toggle this, pull it over and have it actually clip into that, rotate it a little bit, and then that's fine, I think. We can throw in a few plants, items. It's not items, I think it's still on the trees. Yes, it is. Let's get ourselves a nana plant in there. Oh, baby, a little nana, little cheeky nana. Oh, cheeky nana. There we go. So we have a plant, and we're gonna start building a sort of a focal point to the island itself. Cool. So it's gonna start filling out on the surface, and then obviously we've got to do something down here as well. That is still creepy. That's even more creepy now that we're looking at it from this angle. Ugh. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. You know what? I might just leave it there for the time being. So if you're liking this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel. We are going to come back. We'll probably tweak these entrance areas. I think this needs a lot of work done to it. We've maintained the hole itself. We've kind of given the rest of the island something to live on. It's going to have to be a little bit more chunky than real life, just because of the way Stranded Deep works. But we can play with this. It'll be fine. It'll look real nice when we're done. And you know what? I'll catch you next time.